And when elected, I'll be the first woman and first Latina to ever serve in this role. Now the chairman shared a little bit about me. I'm from Brownsville, so me siento muy en casa with you all here in Laredo. I'm a fifth generation Tejana. I'm a mom. I have a 5-month-old baby, and I live in Brownsville with my husband and baby girl. I'm running against Ken Paxton. Y'all know who he is. Ken Paxton has never seen a crime he doesn't want to commit because he doesn't believe the law applies to him. And my role as an attorney is to use the law to make powerful people treat Texans fairly, to recognize that we are all equal under the law. No one is above the law, no matter how powerful they are. And no one is beneath the protection of the law, no matter how humble we are. So my work has been grounded in that belief. I've fought for reproductive rights of an immigrant teen. I fought against the Trump administration back in 2017 for a young woman who was denied her right to abortion care. And we won for her. We won for every single teen in immigration custody. And it's still in effect today. The Garza notice is given to all the teens in immigration detention. And it's an example of what we can do when we stand up together and we recognize everyone's humanity. So I am proud to be your nominee. I am within 2 points of unseating Ken Paxton. And I know we can get it done. So, y con tacones. Yes, we can. Yes. Well, I'm so touched and blessed to be here. Me siento mucho orgullo. And I'm really proud to be here today with Beto. Now, Beto and I actually met back in 2018 during family separation. I was representing families that had been separated from their children. And at the time he was running for office, I introduced him to a client of mine who had been separated from his 12-year-old daughter. And in that conversation, I saw someone who cared. I saw someone who had compassion. And I saw someone who could lead. What we have right now in the governor's office, he does not care about us. He does not care about people. He does not care about women. So we need to vote him out. And we need to choose someone who cares about human beings, who cares about us, and is going to fight for us. We have that choice to make in November. This election is that important. So we need to vote blue up and down, but we need Beto O'Rourke as our governor.
All right, Laredo, how we doing? Hey, everybody. Wouldn't it make you so proud if Rochelle Garza was your Attorney General starting January of this year? And imagine Jay Clayburgh as your Land Commissioner, fighting for you and everybody in this community. We are so lucky, blessed by the congressman, the state representative, our state chairman, our party chairwoman right here in Webb County, and all of you who have come out here tonight, let me let you in on the big news. We are going to win this election in November. We're going to win. We're going to win because we're going to make sure every woman makes her own decisions about her own body, her own future, and her own health care. We are going to win because we're going to put the lives of our kids above the interests of the NRA or the gun lobby or anything else. We're going to win because we have the backs of our amazing school teachers and educators and retired teachers. We're going to make sure that we pay them enough so they work just one job instead of 2 or 3. Those retired teachers getting a cost of living adjustment every single year going forward. And I want you to know that I've heard you. We're going to cancel the STAR test in the state of Texas. And I will make a classroom teacher the next TEA commissioner so we have an ally to get that done. That's right, that's right. We're going to win because we will support every woman and man who have put their lives on the line for this country, the veterans and the military retirees who call Webb County home. We will spare no expense. We will move any mountain to make sure that any who are homeless have a roof over their head. We'll connect those who've been denied care with the help that they need that will literally save their lives. And for any veteran who does not want to be prescribed an opioid, though the VA all too often will too freely give it to you, to which you may become addicted and from which you may die. If you say that there is something else that eases my symptoms, that increases my appetite, that allows me to sleep, but I do not want to be a criminal in the eyes of the law, hear me loud and clear. We are going to legalize marijuana in the state of Texas to make sure that you can take care of yourself because you took care of all of us. We are going to win because we together are going to knock on the doors of the voters who are going to decide the outcome of this next election. We don't care that Greg Abbott and that Republican majority have tried to rewrite the laws of our elections to keep people out of the voting booth. This is what we're going to do. We're going to sign up, each of us, to a person tonight with these amazing volunteers who are in the yellow vests, and I will put you on the doors of those who've been targeted for suppression and intimidation. And when we knock on those doors, and when we talk to those voters, and when we bring them into this democracy, they provide the margin of victory on election night when we win this thing. You with me? And I'll tell you what, Richard Raymond asked me this question, so I want to make sure I deliver it. We are going to win because we are running against the worst governor in the United States of America today. Let me lay some numbers down on you. It has been 8 days since Greg Abbott's trigger law has gone into effect. That means that abortion is outlawed beginning at conception with no exception for rape, no exception for incest, in a state that has one of the worst maternal mortality rates in the United States of America, particularly bad for women of color, black women, 3 times as deadly. And if you all saw the press conference where he was signing this bill into law, one of the reporters asked him, Mr. Governor, you realize there's no exception for rape in this bill. In other words, you're going to force girls and women to carry their rapist child. And the governor says, don't worry, we're going to eliminate rape in the state of Texas. There have been more rapes committed in this state under this guy's watch than any state in the union. Our ability to bring perpetrators to justice has declined in half since this guy took office. There are more than 3,000 untested rape kits at DPS headquarters in Austin, Texas right now. This guy is driving violent crime at the same time that he's making it the most dangerous state in the union in which to be a woman. That's why we've got to win this election and restore the rights that every woman in Texas should be able to expect. It has been 14 weeks since 19 children were taken from us. They're 2 heroic teachers who had already sacrificed every single day of their working life for those kids, literally gave their lives because they were up against a guy who was armed with a weapon originally engineered and designed for use in combat to kill an enemy soldier at 500 yards, to penetrate that steel helmet and bring him down. Those kids were up against that gun in the hands of an 18-year-old with no steel helmet on their heads, not 500 yards away, but 5 feet. Their parents only able to claim their bodies by the shoes that they were wearing, nothing identifiable above their shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, 14 weeks, and a governor who could call a special session to go after critical race theory, a governor who could call a special session to chase after transgender kids, a governor who could call a special session to weaken our right to vote, could not be bothered to call a special session to save the lives of those kids who are going into these classrooms right now in Laredo. When we win this, we're prioritizing the lives of our kids. We're going to have laws on the books that ensure that no kid has to go up against an AR-15. We're going to have a red flag law so we can intervene before it's too late. We're going to have a universal background check so anyone buying a firearm is vetted in case they're a danger to themselves or to anybody else. Let me tell you how long it's been. It has been 19 months since the genius in the highest position of power could not keep the power on for the people of Texas. 700 of our fellow Texans lost their lives in the energy capital of the world. 3 that we know of died right here in Webb County, including a 93-year-old man who died alone in his home because the power didn't work and the heat didn't run and the lights didn't go on and his pipes froze and then they burst over his dead body right here in this state. While that was happening, your governor, Greg Abbott, pegged the price of electricity at the highest allowable rate. Gas was trading at 200 times the going rate. $11 billion changed hands from all of us to the energy traders and the pipeline CEOs. It was the largest transfer of wealth in Texas history. And he stuck you and me with the bag. On average, our utility bills have gone up $45 a month per ratepayer in this state, though you or I had nothing to do with the problem that Greg Abbott and his corrupt cronies caused in the first place. Let me tell you what, we win this election, we are fixing the grid. We're going to connect ERCOT to the national grid. We're going to draw down power when we need it. And I'm going to get back the $11 billion that was stolen from you and return it to every single ratepayer right here in the state of Texas. You all with me? It has been 7.5 years since Greg Abbott was sworn into office. Soon thereafter, a federal judge named Judge Janice Jack said, "Hey, Governor, you may not know this, you're new to the job, but Child Protective Services, with 32,000 kids in the foster care system, it is the worst run in this country. Kids emerge from foster care more damaged than when they first went in." Well, 6 years later, she just issued a new report this January, gave it to the governor through public notice and said, "Hey, Governor, that problem I told you about back then when you first took office, it has gone from bad to worse. 100 children in our custody and care lost their lives just since the year of our Lord, 2020. Hundreds more have been trafficked for their young bodies, pornographic pictures of them posted up by people who are paid by you and me because we have privatized CPS care in the state of Texas. That has happened on his watch, a problem that went from bad to worse. When we win this thing, we are going to elevate those kids in the foster care system, connect them with their families wherever we can, spare no expense on those CPS caseworkers to make sure that we have enough of them to take care of them. We don't lose a single child here in the state of Texas. We make sure that their lives are the most important of anybody here. Certainly more important than the political donors, the pollsters, or the prognosticators. 7.5 years that this guy has been in office, and we are the least insured state in the union right now. What that means is that we routinely meet people right here in Laredo who have diabetes but cannot afford insulin, who have schizophrenia but can't go in to see a mental health care provider. Instead, They get locked up in your county jail, which has become the largest provider of mental health care services in Webb County, just as it is across the state of Texas. It is immoral, it is unconscionable, and it is expensive. It costs you and me about $120 a night to lock somebody up because they make too much to qualify for Medicaid and not enough to qualify for Obamacare subsidies. They're out on the streets or they're in the jail. Either way, you are paying for it. Here's what we can do. We are going to make sure that we get our federal income taxes back from Washington, D.C., $10 billion a year to connect more people with more health care, to open up more clinics and hospitals, make sure that anyone who has diabetes can afford insulin, thanks to the legislation Congressman Cuellar passed. Make sure anyone with a mental health care challenge doesn't go to jail, but sees a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist to get back on their feet, to raise their family, to go back to work, to finish their education, to do whatever they were placed on this planet to perform in the first place. And then the governor's favorite issue. When he comes here, all he wants the rest of the world to know about is the border. And that it's a problem. And that we should be scared of Laredo or Eagle Pass or El Paso or any other place that connects with Mexico. Well, let me tell you what. He's had 7.5 years to do something about it. And what we have today is far more chaotic than what we had when he first took office. These stunts of busing migrants to Washington, D.C. or to New York City or now to Chicago, building a few miles, literally just a few miles of a border wall at extraordinary expense, involuntarily activating 10,000 members of the National Guard right here in the state of Texas for a 1-year deployment. Took them away from their families, from their kids, from their jobs. They had 1 week to say goodbye for an entire year. 8 of them. 8 of those members of the Guard have died so far. 4 of them have taken their lives. 4 others have died in questionable circumstances. None of them killed by a migrant coming here. No, he has not fixed the border, but he's done his best to break it. Do you remember earlier this year when he shut down all international trade between Nuevo Laredo and Laredo for more than a week? It cost the Texas economy $4.2 billion. There's a rail line that was going to come up from Mexico right through this community and add billions of dollars more to the positive to Laredo. That is now going to New Mexico because of Greg Abbott. I'll tell you what, the solutions are right in front of us if we'll just listen to one another. And it does not matter. No me importa if you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. You, like me, fronterizos, we understand the border. We understand that those who come to this country and follow our laws by their very presence make us stronger, more successful, and yes, safer than we would have been otherwise. We are proud to be a community of immigrants, and we want to make sure that we, Texas, take the lead in rewriting our immigration laws to match our values and our needs and our reality here. A Texas-based guest worker program that says, look, if you want to come to this country and work, that's wonderful. Follow our law and we'll make sure there's a safe, legal, orderly path to do that. You want to join family? We want you to be able to do that as well. We understand from Mexico today, it's a 20-year wait to do the right thing the right way. What if we rewrote our laws so that there was a safe, legal, orderly way for you to do that? Are you applying for asylum or refuge in this country? Today it takes 6 years for us to process your request. What if we work together so that it is 6 weeks to process your request? And if you pass that bar, welcome to America. And if you don't, you must go back to your country of origin. We must follow our laws. We can agree on at least this much: solutions instead of stunts. This is the opportunity we have to defeat the worst governor in the United States of America today, who's done everything that I've just described. And in addition to that, he has jacked your property taxes by $20 billion over the last 7 years. Who got their appraisal notice this spring and saw the value of their home or their farm or their ranch go through the roof? This guy is failing to help us out at the local level. When I'm governor, I'm going to make sure that we raise the share of state investment in school spending so that you can decrease the amount on your property taxes here. When we bring in more Medicaid dollars, we'll lower the cost to your county tax assessor because you're no longer paying for indigent, uncompensated care. We're going to make sure that we bring down property taxes in the state of Texas. Are you with me on that? Here's how we're going to do this. We are, like Rochelle Garza said, she is 2 points down right now from Ken Paxton, which is amazing. The last poll that we had on Greg Abbott, we are 5 points down and climbing fast. For us to make up this ground, and Jay could be ahead for all we know at this point, right? For us to make up this ground right now, we need you all. It will not be the Democratic Party. It will not be the candidates by themselves. It will not be some magical amount of money or some mysterious message that we come up with in a focus group. It is going to be the people of this community in this room right now, knocking on the doors of those who've been written out of this democracy before. It will not be easy. It's hot out there. We're going to be meeting total strangers and having conversations about the future of this state. But if you want to make sure that this state has a future, you're going to join me in doing this. And I promise you, if you'll raise your hand, if you're in a yellow vest right now so folks can see you around this room, before you leave, one of these yellow vests is going to stop you before you get out the door. Please sign up with them to take a shift on this election. Here's the last thing that I want to hit you with. I recognize that these are some pretty dark days for the people of Texas. The rights that are under attack right now. The level of hatred that our governor has sown. The fact that he wants us to be afraid of one another, afraid of you if you're gay, if you're an immigrant, if you're somehow different than him or somebody else that he has elevated in this state. In Abbott's Texas, it is you or me. And I know that in our Texas, it is you and me. But it can be scary right now when the most powerful people in the state of Texas are coming after you. It can be scary when you go into this next winter not knowing if your lights or your heat or your water is going to run. It can be scary if you are a woman and you know that you may have a pregnancy that may not be viable, but you may be forced to carry it to term, and you may not have the resources to go to another state. It can be scary if you're gay in this state and you have a government that says that they're going to impose a Don't Say Gay bill this next session. Listen, I understand that. But we must come together at this defining moment of truth, because the other way to look at it is that few generations are so lucky as we are to have the chance to fight for everything that truly matters at the moment that it will be decided forever. That is us on the night of November 8th, 2020. You all ready to win this election? Because that's what it's going to take. Thank you, Laredo. Thank you, Webb County. Thank you for coming out. Les agradezco.